Hello, Danny Gumble again. It's that day where I actually had a Cosby joke that I just did and posted. So, continuing on my my living room, lay down kind of lazy ass style that I have. These are actually, you can see the dog paw. It's actually, I was looking for these huge pillows to put across my futon. I decided to leave it down more often than up because I'm just living by myself in a sad little basement suite. Well, it's not sad, I like it. And there's no pillows big enough that are cheap enough for someone to have. So I just went ahead and got two. It's just on this back side there. It's the same thing on the front. And I just added a little extra stuffing to them. And no dogs ever laid on, just this dog. And they're perfect. I'm not, but they are. Yeah, I'm kind of rearranging myself here. I think when you're leaning back, my head will look really small. My body's gonna look even huger than it is. Oh yeah, it does actually. So that's an awful one. I think I'm gonna come closer. This is on a little tripod, so it's not so forgiving. All right, Cosby. Hope you liked the joke. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it. And remember, it's mine. These things just pop out of my mouth, and yeah, many a times I get in trouble for it, but that's okay. That's part of life. And I still got the puffy eyes from my, actually I had 2 long days, a 13 and a half and a 15 and a half. And considering I haven't been working much, it took a lot out of me, but I actually, I love it. That's why I do it. Okay. We're already 2 minutes in and I haven't even started. So this morning, of course, I said that, when I looked at the news, kind of took the humor out of me, and that's probably why I didn't deliver the joke so well. It's hard to be relaxed and funny when the world's so sad at times. My heart goes out to everyone in that big fire. Total tragedy. Hopefully they'll figure out what happened exactly and remedy it for future situations, because that's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And fires, of course, have a huge meaning to me. If you knew me personally, you'd know that, because obviously you'd be aware that my father was a fireman, and my eldest brother right now is currently a chief, and he was the chief of one town, Port Coquitlam, where we grew up, Poco. And when he retired there, 3 days later, he started in Langley, so he's the Langley chief currently right now. And to my eldest brother's credit, although we didn't always get along, it's like brothers and sisters don't all the time. To my brother's credit, he's had a hell of a career. He was emergency response for a few years here in BC, where if there had been an earthquake or whatever, he was the guy, top of the list. And then he progressed from that to well, actually, they put him through university. He's one of the few highest qualified guys, period. He's just got the degrees and honorary degrees, but I mean, real degrees, right? Just fire related. So, again, they don't have a lot of people out there that have that kind of education behind them in the fire department at the senior levels. They will in the years coming, because they're hiring a different group than they used to hire. Used to be hiring a lot of sports guys. Anyway, so he became chief of chiefs for Canada. Lots of pictures of him with, at that time it was Harper government, so lots of pictures of Harper's handing him awards. And he brought in, a lot of the sprinkler system laws that might have prevented what happened down, over in London, actually. Anyways, not to take away from them, but, yeah, so he's done that, and he's rewritten the manuals too, so, yeah, and he's still working. I mean, he could retire anytime, but he still enjoys going to work and making a difference. So doesn't know what he says. I don't know what I do with all that time off. So, lucky for Canada, lucky for Langley in this case right now. Hats off, Steve. All right. So if I left myself enough time to do much with this, probably not. This thing sometimes cuts off at 5 minutes. So if it does, I apologize. I will still post this one, and then I'll continue on. Okay. What am I going to talk about? Well, the shooting down in the States. Well, super sad. And also, sadly, somewhat predictable. Not the particular shooting or the particular people that got shot. But the fact is that if you look at the history of the U.S., oh God, I don't have the number in front of me, I apologize, but I think it's like 1 in 5 presidents have been shot, you know, many of them killed too. And they're in a situation right now where with this 50-50 love-hate relationship they have in their country towards their president, that he himself is a huge target. Also, if there's truth to any of this collusion with, you know, Russia, you know, if there's any of this truth to the money coming in from sources that aren't really allowed, there will be people on the other side of that that will not be happy, and some of them will be you know, grabbing their guns. And that's going to get into the gun issue. I would prefer there's no guns, tanks, nukes, planes. I'd prefer there wasn't any of this killing armories around the world that we've progressed to. It's not progression, it's a regression. But we've been doing it forever, right from when we could make a knife. We've always invented ways to kill each other, and it's super sad, and it's super ingrained in the world and in man, and maybe in our DNA. You know, survival of the fittest just maybe still comes out whenever times are tough. And so making policies for the masses to make it look like we give a damn and we're going to try to prevent this and recreate it. We all know, well, we don't all know, but I believe that's not obviously the answer, and it's probably not going to be the answers. If you have a group of people that aren't willing to defend themselves, then sadly, those that are wolves will see them as sheep. If wolves see you as sheep, then unfortunately you become sheep, even if you're not really sheep. If you're just like doing it because it's the right thing to do, they won't care. They'll still take advantage. And you see that with things like genocides around the world, where one group is just so less able to protect themselves from the dominant group that's all behind the armaments. And if you're looking for an answer from me, obviously there's no answer. I don't have it. I'm just a person. I think there has to be a realization, though, that people are out there like that. So does taking the guns out of a hunter, out of a recreational person in the States, because they love their guns, they love them. It's for them. It's you know, it's the Super Bowl. It's entertainment. That's what they like to do on the weekend. Just like a fisherman likes to fish, you know, and a soccer player likes to play soccer. These guys that love guns like to go out and shoot targets, for God's sakes, and then brag about it with each other and go home and have their couple beers and you know, poke each other until next week when they hopefully can. The other guy wins or whatever. But those aren't the people that are probably going to be our problem. It's still going to be the deranged few. And unless we eliminate absolutely all weapons on the earth, those deranged few will always find a means. And there's lots of means. I mean, lately it's just getting in a vehicle, ramming through a crowd. How the hell do you prevent that? So I think sometimes we lose track of the purpose of stuff because it becomes political. It's like, oh, well, we're trying to do something. You guys don't care. You know, we're trying to, you know, restrict guns. That'll make all the difference. It won't make the difference, because the difference has to be the psyche of humans. And the psyche of humans, we have to go, why do I want to kill another human? And the ones that don't want to really do need to team up and say, you are not going to be allowed to, or if you do, you're going to be penalized to the point that, you know, at least you will be gone. And I actually believe in deterrence of like major deterrence. Somebody takes a bunch of lies intentionally, I don't believe they should get to go to prison for years and be paid for and have lots of money put behind them and get educations and stuff. I don't think they should be able to have 10 million shrinks go through them and we spend a ton of tax money on that. And I don't think they should ever be released. And, well, we could try to fix them. No. They crossed the line, and I think if we put that there are lines in the world, that here's the line, here's the humanity line, that then you do forfeit your period of time on the planet. You do forfeit your life. It's like you took other lives. we're glad that you think you could fix yourself. We're glad that the doctors think you can fix yourself. Too late. Too late. Maybe in your next life, if there is a next life. But, we owe it to the people that are here already. And to maybe someone down the road that looks at you and thinks, well, the worst case scenario is I go to jail for 5 or 6 years on a manslaughter, or, I beat my wife and say, oh, I lost temporary insanity, she was divorcing me. No, fuck you. You killed her, pay the price, You made a conscious decision which had ramifications for others. Now, be a man, be a woman, be a person, be a child, be whatever. It's time for you to pay the piper. And pay the piper. And bye-bye, because a lot less money, people can move on with their lives faster. Whether they call it justice or not justice, doesn't matter how they term it. Something will have been done to deter that particular person from ever having another opportunity. And for hopefully others that think that there's an avenue out to be a sickie, that there is no avenue out. None at all. You're caught, you're had in the cookie jar on a major type crime intended, bye-bye. Okay? And I'm not talking about the guy who, forgets to put his left turn light on and just cuts in front of somebody and they T-bone each other and he causes a death. That is awful. And yes, that person will have his day in court, and yes, he may get manslaughter, and yes, he may serve some time, but that wasn't intended. He never wanted to, and probably that's the type of person that might even commit suicide, because a lot of us can't live with the fact if we cause life, death to someone else. How do you live on after that? I mean, it'll haunt you every night. So those are honest people that make honest mistakes, and some mistakes do cause deaths, and that's really sad, but that's a reality too. I'm going to try to end this because I actually got away with 11:55, and maybe it will all work and I can load it up all as one. So I'll listen to it. If I like it, I'll load it. And if I want to, I'll continue on this topic, or I'll start a new one. Thank you very much for listening. Danny Gamble. Bye.